Welcome to this first episode of A Coffee and Move On. It's been ages that I want to start my own podcast, but with work and mental health, I never really had the chance to start it or wanted to start it or say now it's time to start it. And this morning I was actually driving and I was listening to a podcast and she was talking about mental health and therapists and journeys. And I was like, yeah, I could connect to exactly what she was saying. I could understand what she was saying and listen to what she was saying helped me. And that's what I want to do. I want to help others. And that's why I do my job is because I want to help others get better, mostly physically, but I also want to help people getting better mentally. And I'm personally on a journey with my therapist to get better mentally after all the trauma that I went through when I was a kid. And it's taking a lot of time. I've been with her for years now, not maybe 4 years, but I think almost 2 years I've been with her, and it's going well. But every time we find something else that we need to work on, and I realize that most people don't go to therapy because they are easy to judge on what therapy is. Most people always assume that therapy are for people with really bad mental health or depressed or people who are weak mentally that cannot handle anything, and that's what they think therapy is. But actually therapy is for everyone and anyone. Of course, there's a price at therapy. It can vary a lot from where you are living or from the therapist you are seeing or the type of therapy you are doing. And it's not, you cannot like get down your insurance. You need to pay for it from your own pocket and your own money, and you won't get our money back. But I think you always need to think about what's more worth it. Is it more worth it to have like nice clothes or going for a dinner or a glass of wine or a bottle of wine? Or is your mental health and your physical health more important? And you need to find out, am I struggling mentally? Do I need help? Yes, I won't buy that bottle of wine and I won't go to the restaurant, but I will go see someone that actually can help me get better. And then when it gets better, maybe you can like extend your session and go for that meal or buy the bottle of wine that you really wanted or buy those nice clothes that you really wanted. But it's always prioritizing what is most important for you. And of course, if you're in a relationship, you also need to prioritize your partner. But always remember that yes, you are living with someone. Yes, you are sharing your life with someone. But at first, you cannot share your life with someone if you are not okay. You cannot put someone else first if you don't put yourself first. You first need to take care of yourself, and you need so you can be there for your partner. You can be there for your friends, and you can be there for your family. But if you don't do that, you're gonna destroy your mental health and also probably maybe destroy your relationship as well, because you're gonna blame your partner for not being able to take care of yourself. You can say like, well, I'm not going to therapy because I want to prioritize you. And actually, if you want to have a healthy relationship, you first should prioritize yourself. And it's going to make a massive change to your relationship. And of course, it's all about discussion. If money is really tight, you need to have a conversation with your partner, see if maybe they can help or if you can find a solution, maybe like save on a trip or maybe save on some expense or be careful when you buy your weekly shopping or wherever the solution can be. But it's always a solution, or most of the time there is a solution. And that's what I want to do this podcast, because I want to share how therapy can be beneficial for everyone. I personally went through a lot of trauma when I was a kid. I won't share everything in here today because there is a lot and we don't have that much time. But also because I first want to talk about like what therapy is, and in a future episode I will open up to a few of the traumas I went through and how I am getting through them day by day and session after session. But therapy massively helped me for years. Also, it really impacted my personal life as well, because when you are doing therapy, you yourself are growing. You decide to put yourself first, and you are learning a lot of things about yourself, and you are changing, and your partner and your friends and your family are not. So you are moving forward, and your partner, your parents, your family, your friends are staying where they are. Unless they are so going to therapy, they're gonna move with you. But if you're the only one going to therapy, you're the only one moving forward. And more you're moving forward, and more they're staying behind, the more it's difficult to communicate because it feels like you're so far away from them. And you are changing, and your way of communicating is different, and they notice that change. And it's easy for them to say, to blame you for the change and say like, oh, you're not the person I met, or you are changing and don't like you anymore. I don't like that personality anymore because it's not who they used to know. And I notice it personally in my personal life, mostly with my parents, is there's been a big gap that's being created between me and my parents because I moved forward and my parents did not, and the communication never been easy between us. But now that I try to tell them what happened and how I felt and how everything made me feel and how they are making me feel, that the gap grew like bigger and bigger and bigger, and I went to a point of almost losing them. You and your therapist to find out a solution to not lose that connection, or and then it's after you had the conversation with your therapist, it's your decision. Do you wanna lose a connection with your parents or the people that you love, or did you had enough and you are willing to start your new life with leaving people behind? And yeah, that can be really scary. Change is really scary. Changing yourself even more because you're not the only one that noticed that change. Everyone is noticing that change, and is finding at that time in your life and that time of in your journey what matters the more to you, because you're gonna discover a lot of things on people around you. You're gonna discover a lot of things about people around you, and it's gonna be what is worth it and what is not. But the thing that should never be not worth it is yourself. You should always be worth it. Your physical health and your mental health should always be worth it. And a therapy journey can be really long, can be like really, really long. I think that connection with your therapist is going to be really important because with everything changing around you, you need to have a safe place, a place where you can breathe, a place where you can relax, and a place where you can be yourself, where you're not gonna be judged because you changed. Because your therapist, that's what they want. They want you to change. They want you. They want the better version of the self of yourself. They want you to get who you really are inside all that trauma, behind all the trauma, beyond all the layers of trauma. They want to see who you really are under all that mess. So that when they see you change, they're happy about it. When you say, "Oh, I could communicate easier. I could talk to them. I didn't get angry. I didn't punch a wall. I could breathe. I didn't panic. I didn't wanted to run away. I managed to stand my ground and say what I wanted to say without getting angry." That's what they want because they know they are doing a good job, and there's a connection between you and them, and that's what they want. So when you go to that safe place once a week or once every 2 weeks, once a month, or over time you need to go see your therapist, that's what they're seeking for. And so it's important to go there and to communicate with them on how everything is going, because it's going to be really scary time, and you're going to see that for a moment your life is going to get worse. Not only life going to get worse because everything is going to change and people are not, the only one like changing will be you. So that's going to be really scary and really difficult, but also because you're going to unlock a lot of things that you didn't expect. You're going to unlock a lot of scary stuff that happened, or you're going to unlock a lot of things you forgot. You're going to unlock a lot of emotions, and you're going to realize a lot of things about yourself, and that's going to be really scary. Like, remember thing that happened to you is going to be really scary. Remembering how it felt is going to be awful. You're going to relive your trauma over and over again. You're going to go to a state of small depression when you're going to start therapy, And again, people are wrong. It's like, why are you going into therapy? You're even more miserable than when you started. That's true. For a time, you're gonna be even more miserable than when you started. You're gonna go to really dark and deep habits. You're gonna be crying, you're gonna be upset, you're gonna be depressed the week after your session, and your friends gonna be worried about you, your family, your parents, your partner is gonna be worried about you and will push you to stop therapy because they're not seeing any change. But what you know inside, or what you should know inside, is because you're unlinking stuff that you forgot, or you're unlinking stuff that shouldn't be been left locked because they were impacting you. Because even if your brain didn't remember, your body did, or your subconscious did, like, you, that memory was still there and it was still impacting you on your daily life, and unlocking it was important to move forward, to change and to be the better version of yourself. And that's what people are gonna need to understand and realize. And you're gonna go through like some really rough and dark time when you're gonna start therapy, and it's gonna be really scary. But again, it's gonna be really important to have like someone by your side when you're starting therapy, someone that you can talk to after therapy, someone that's gonna support you, and someone gonna understand why you're doing it because they care about you. But you're gonna also need to tell them that it's normal, what's going on is normal, that it's expected to feel worse after a therapy session. Of course, it shouldn't be always the case, but the start can be like that. And some therapy session, you're just gonna go not to unlock your past or unlock your trauma or try to make progress. Sometimes something gonna happen in your week, and you're gonna have like a really bad week, or a really bad day at work, or a really bad day in your life, and all you want to do is just sit down with them and like talk about what happened and like just unload everything. And you don't want to work on everything, you just want someone to listen, you just want a shoulder to cry on, you just want someone neutral in a situation that just listens to you. Because even if your partner is great and your parents and your friends are great, they always want to like give some solution, or oh, you should do that, or oh, you shouldn't let them say that, or you should have like step up, or whatever, or get a grape, come on, it's not that bad, you're being a bit silly, no, aren't you? But what I don't understand is that thing that may be silly for them is a big deal for you, because it may trigger something that happened in the past. For example, I struggle with control massively. Reason why I'm self-employed, because I just cannot work for anyone. It never worked. I worked in a lot of gyms. Uh, Destroyed my relationship with every single gym I worked in. I probably am banned from every gym because I spoke up. I tried to change things. I didn't let people walk on my head. Just was really stubborn, and probably too stubborn, and that didn't go well. If you work for someone and you are mentally stronger than them, it doesn't go well. If you have more ideas, if you want to move, and if you are against the rules because you want your own rules that make sense to you and no sense to them, it's gonna create chaos. So I personally struggle with control massively. So of course, when I get that the need of control, and of someone or a situation is controlling me, and I freak out about it, people are gonna say like, "Come on, it's silly. They were just trying to give you a rule. Like they just wanted you to follow that rule that's been there for 20 years." But for me, it will be panic, because I'm like, yeah, but that rule doesn't make sense. I just wanted to change it, or it's just like I just wanted to fight it because it doesn't make any sense, and it tried to make me do it while I didn't want to do it because it didn't make any sense. And you go on and on and on, and people just don't understand. But your therapist will understand, because it's like, yeah, if you look bad at it, it's because that and that and that happened when you were a kid, and you were afraid of control, and that's why you overreacted. So I understand. If you want, when you're ready, we can work on it, and that's it. And people have a tendency to forget that that's what therapy is for. Is not only to unlock everything all the time, every session, and dig deep in your emotion. Is sometimes just having someone neutral that you can talk about your day, or like say, oh, my partner pissed me off today, they did that and that. Oh my god, I was so mad at them. I can't talk to them about them because then they're gonna be upset. Well, they will listen to you. They will listen to you. They won't give you advice. They will just listen to you. They will ask questions, but they won't judge you, and they won't try to solve everything. They will just be a shoulder to cry on, and they know what you need at what time, because your therapist is supposed to know you. At the end, if you open up better than anyone, they will see the pattern, they will understand what's going on, and they will know the sign to look out for. I think that's why therapy should be for everyone, because everyone got bad days, everyone got bad weeks, everyone got like some rough time with a family, everyone got some rough time with a partner. And for you, if that's your case, you probably don't need to go see a therapist every week, but once a month. And if you are struggling with trauma, you may need once a week, and then try to slow down to two a week, and one every 2 weeks, and then once a month or whatever. But that's you to decide what you need and how many sessions you need. And it's not your partner to decide, it's not anyone else to decide but you, how much you need, because you know deep down what you need, and if you need to talk more or less, or if you need time to digest what happened in the conversation. And that's why I want to do that video. That's why I want to do the episode of podcasts. And I want to do in this podcast talking about everything. It can be like therapy, it can be addictions, it can be parents, it can be emotionally immature parents, or whatever it is that I want to talk about. It can be something that you want me to talk about, so you can just leave it in the comment. I will talk about it. Or it can be something that impact me, or that hurt me, or that I know that I can help with, or whatever thought will cross my mind. But I think it's important to get people to seek some help. I see so many people daily being hurt and just feel like they have no one to talk about, and going down in every bad way you can imagine. I don't want to have problem with YouTube, so I won't say it, but I guess you can think about the bad ways to go down to when you feel like really low emotionally. And all those addiction can be, I would say, could could be fixed or will be avoided if they found someone before to talk to, if they went to see a therapist before. It may have been avoided. Again, I'm not saying that it will have been avoided, because it's impossible to say, but it may have been avoided if they could try to work it out, what caused them to be that low and feel that low. They may have never turned into those bad habits that will destroy them, and that destroy the life and made them lose everything. Because feeling really low, like lower the pound of not wanting to do anything, and feeling sad and having dark thoughts all the time, is gonna lead you to do something stupid. It's just draining. It's something that you feel you will never be able to get out of. And when you have days like today, you can see on the back is absolutely miserable outside. It doesn't help you feel even worse, and you just feel so sad and down, and feel like every single minute of the day is just so heavy and so slow and difficult to go through. And people have a tendency to forget that therapies or therapy exists, and it's therapy for everyone. Like personally, I'm someone that don't mind opening up. I don't mind talking about things, and I don't mind working towards it, and I don't mind crying in front of someone. I don't like to cry in front of someone, even if I'm a crier. I don't really cry in my day-to-day life, unless I'm angry. I cry when I'm angry, and I'm angry a lot, so obviously, yeah, I probably cry a lot. but I'm a big crier if I watch a movie or a TV show or whatever. I will cry, but other than that, I will only cry when I'm angry. I don't cry when I'm sad. When I'm sad, I usually laugh. But some people cannot talk, are too afraid to cry in front of someone. And I know when I'm in front of my therapist, I just cry. Sometimes after 2 minutes, I've been sitting in the chair for 2 minutes, and we just talk about like the day or whatever, and she asks me, "How is your week been?" And I just like to cry because you're just like enough of it, and you just like just that question, that tiny question, like, "How's your week been?" Is just push you over the edge, and you just kind of stop crying, and you kind of lose it, and that's normal, and it's gonna happen. You're gonna have session where you're gonna not cry, and you're gonna have session where you're gonna stop crying, where they're gonna need to make you pause and breathe and trying to center yourself again because you just cannot stop crying. And it's gonna really depends on the session and on the day and on what's going on in your life. And if that's not you, because it's possible that it may not be you. You may not be a talker. You may not be open to talk about it. There's so many different therapy. There is like, I don't know, at least 10 different type of therapy, and you probably can find the one that will work for you and your needs and or your work. I know like my partner doesn't like to talk. She tried therapy where she had to talk. It didn't work out for her. So she just tried something else and something else. Then like maybe one day she will find something that works for her. Because everyone is different. Everyone is different. And that's why there's so many different therapists. If your therapist judge you, or if you don't feel it when you get to your first session, then change. Go to someone else. I know my first therapist that I chose by myself after I was 18. She looked really nice. I think she probably fit with a lot of people, but she pushed me way too hard to admit something to my parents that I was not ready to admit. And every session, it was like, I want you to tell your parents, or you need to tell your parents about what happened. And I just disconnected. I was gone. I, I, my brain was gone somewhere else. I just couldn't talk about it, and it made me freak out. And every session was just about that. And I decided to leave. At one point, not to leave the session, but to never come back after maybe 3 or 4 sessions, because it was too much for me. I couldn't take it. And for years, I couldn't afford it. And I was just in a really dark place. And I knew I needed help. But at the time, I couldn't afford it. With COVID and everything, it was really difficult. And could have found a way. I'm sure if I talked to my parents about it, they would have helped me, or any member of my family would have helped me. I'm sure of it, I think. But I was just too ashamed to ask for help, and I was probably not ready as well. I was moving from town to town. I was not working at the time. I was really bad with over exercising and controlling what I'm eating not eating way too much, but over controlling what I was eating, and I was not eating enough and really, really over exercising. And at the time, I knew I was not ready, even if I knew I needed help. And then I came in this town. A lot happened, like really too much happened, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. I couldn't talk to any friends about it because I was too ashamed of what was going on. I couldn't talk to my parents about it or my family because I was too ashamed of what was going on. And I was like, it's too much. I can't deal with it anymore. I need help. I need someone to talk to. I need someone neutral that I can talk to that won't judge me. And that's when I seek help. And it's been a life changer since then. For at least a year, we didn't work on my deep trauma because I wasn't ready. I needed to be sure that I trusted her. I need to be sure that she fit with me and we could like on the same page. And for me to really struggled to trust people. So for me, it took me 1 year of weekly session to open up, to be ready to actually talk about what happened to me in the past. And because for 1 year we talk mostly about work or the thing that happened recently in my life that was really difficult for me, and I couldn't talk to my friends or my family. But after that, I decided to finally open up about my deep trauma and why what happened recently impacted me so much, because of course it was a link on what happened to me recently, why did that impact me so much. And yeah, it took me 1 year to trust my therapist. Hopefully it won't take as long for you, because it's quite long. 1 year is it's quite a lot of money once a week. But when you know you need it, you will know deep down when you're ready to open up. You will know deep down if you'll find a solution to afford it, even if it's once a month. Is if you look at your bank account and if you look at your expenses, you will see that there's probably something that you can replace and pay for your therapy. And you can even try a GoFundMe. I'm sure if you like write it correctly and you are honest and you may explain what happened to you and what you need it for, and try to be smart about it and in the way you word it, you can always try a GoFundMe, and I'm sure people will help, because GoFundMe is a really, I think, good place where people are there to help each other. And you can see a GoFundMe for everything. Someone will like to get the hair done and they have not enough money, and if people want to get the hair done, have actually reached the donation goal, I'm sure that if you're asking help to pay for your therapy, I'm sure some people will give some money if you manage to share it, and if you manage to do a good job about it, about sharing it and making people talk about it. You will find money to be able to make like have enough money to pay for your therapy session. Everything takes time, of course, but I'm sure, like I said, there's always a solution. And I think I talked enough about it. I just want to say in conclusion, go see someone, try to find a solution. Be aware that it's going to be a lot of step back. It's going to be really difficult. You're probably going to feel depressed for a bit. You're going to probably feel low and down, and it's going to be really hard, and you're going to be even lower than when you started therapy for a while. And that's when you need people around you to understand you. You're also probably going to lose some people along the way, people that are close to you, that didn't move from where you are. You went forward and they didn't move. And when you move forward and people don't move, a massive gap is created. And if the massive gap is created, communication is almost impossible. And you will lose people on the way because you move forward and they didn't. And if you move forward and they don't, that's their choice. Because you need to work on yourself and you need to improve. You need to get better. You need to better yourself. And if people don't want to follow you, if people don't want to follow the new you, that's their choice. That's not yours. That means they were not good for you. They were not good to be in your life. I hope you enjoyed that first podcast. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it. It's my first podcast. I used to have a channel before, but it was more around food related and fitness related. But I may go back to the channel one day. I'm not sure, because work is taking a lot of time. But for me, podcast is always something that I want to do. I always wanted to share my personal experiences, because I want what I lived. I want what I lived to have happened for a reason. I don't want to what happened to me just to be bad and negative. I want it to be positive. I wanted to have like a reason for everything that happened. And I think podcast where I can share about personal experiences will be a good way to get that bad put into something good. So please share it, give it a like. Like if you liked it, please just leave a comment. That would be like really helpful. Subscribe, and I see you in the next podcast.